In the tunnel. In the tunnel. In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 84.
1 minute gets away.
Yeah, hey, I mean like
It's an Antonio Brown joke.
we're like gonna get back into it. I think next week we already have like next week planning and stuff like that, so
Yep, the third annual March Madness tournament of whatever it is. I think we started in February last year, or the first year, and
years
now
ago.
this year
Yeah.
we're bringing it back in March.
Yeah. Well, I mean everything's late this year, so it's okay.
Sean's got his quarantine hair back.
Yeah.
That looks to be grown quite a chic.
I mean it's mostly the headphones though, because it like pushes down and up my hair. So
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't show as much on the sides.
yeah.
It really accentuates the top.
Yeah, it's mostly the headphones though, because there's like it pushes down on the center. So
Yeah. No, I know.
anyway,
I know. Trust me, for as long as you've known me, I've tried to make a living off of making the hair look good while still wearing headphones.
yo,
You almost always have to go with short and sides.
yeah, yeah. All
A
right.
little bit of a fade.
Anyway, let's talk. Let's just get into it. So we're gonna start with the NFL. One major thing. Uh,
Hmm.
JJ Watt's apparently on the Cardinals,
Yeah, he's signing with the Cardinals. I believe 2 years, 31 million. Let me look that up. But
but free agency hasn't started yet. So
yeah, free agency doesn't officially start until March 17th, making his announcement that he signed on what was it?
uh,
March 1st, I
first,
think
yeah, it's
actually,
like 4 days ago.
making it maybe the one of the biggest stunning offseason moves solely for happening
Before the start.
more than 2 weeks before.
Yep.
Um Also, the fun thing about this being that I don't know how to say this. It was probably an overpay for the Cardinals, and
I mean, I think he's that good where he can justify more money. So, while I do agree that it's probably a slight overpay on the Cardinals, I do
Mhm.
think him like being the player he is, he was going to get, if not that 15 was 30 million a year he got, or was it 15?
I'm not sure, but apparently his cap hit for the 2021 season, found out today, is only 4.9 million.
What the heck? Well, how much of it is in bonus then?
See if we can even find that. I don't. I doubt that that information is disclosed. Oh, here we go. Signing bonus 2.4 million each year. Base salary 2.5 million
That's how
for
they get it.
2021. Dead cap money $20 million.
Yeah.
So his yearly cash is going to be 14.5
Yeah.
million.
So I mean,
So
I could have seen another team paying maybe like 12, 13
it
mil.
looks like this contract. It's a straight 2 year. I thought I had an opt in for a third year, which it looks like it actually might. But right now it's a 2 year, $28 million contract.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, like again, I think 14, 15 million is slightly high, but I could see him getting like 12, 13 before this news.
I mean, he turns 32 in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he's
For a
still
defensive
really good.
end, well,
Like,
when he's not hurt.
yeah, I mean, that's the caveat with everybody though.
Yeah.
So like,
No, that's right. But then the other part of this that we were talking about last week in show planning, this week, is that he was released from the Texans. I think it was February 16th or something.
mhm,
He only spent half of his window before free agency started to actually think and make a decision. So
yeah,
he for a guy who said that he was going to take his time on this, kind of he really reached the verdict pretty quickly.
yeah. I mean, like, I can see, I see that, but like, I don't know if he was gonna get 15 million from any other team.
I mean, I know that, like, I'm sure he wanted to play with his brothers here, but he wasn't going to get anywhere near. He was
No,
going to have to probably take veteran minimum. We're
it,
in cap hell right now.
yeah, but like, I could see another team again offering him like 12. I think 15's high, but I still think that if he's healthy, he's worth that.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
can't really, pay somebody 8 because you're not healthy for like you can't just assume they're not going to be healthy.
no, you're right, but it's always been the biggest wild card of JJ Watt's career
Yeah,
is
no,
if he
no,
was
I
going to
I
be
completely
healthy.
agree. It's just, a little on the weird side.
I mean, every part of this is a little bit on the weird side. The fact that it's the Cardinals when like the Cardinals were nowhere near the top of the list. It was supposed to be, is it Buffalo, Cleveland, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, uh, maybe even New England for some reason.
But I mean, like, I
It
don't
was
see.
not Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, out of those teams, though, I ruled the Steelers out because I think he was going for more money, even
Yeah.
if his brothers were there. And
I mean, we weren't going to be the team that won a Super Bowl. But if he was chasing a ring, I don't necessarily think that the Cardinals were
yeah, but
the
I
team
mean,
either.
I think he ended up choosing the money over the ring.
Yeah, there must be something really wrong with the Texans as an organization, and we know that from what's going on with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
But like for the Texans to do the right thing and release JJ Watt solely for him to end up pretty much just taking the money again
yeah.
is, I mean, he must have been in hell there, and he just wanted to get out.
I mean, I can see that. From what it's looking like, the players, the at least the stars are in hell there.
Yeah, well, maybe they shouldn't have signed all those big contracts.
True, but whatever. It's
Who
the
would have
past
thought
now.
that throwing money at athletes with talent would go wrong?
uh, yeah, yeah. So free agency doesn't start for another 10 days, right?
12. Today's
Well,
the
12
fifth.
days. So yeah, we won't have any other news about signings until then. Anything else we want to say about this?
Not really.
All right, on to
Again, the Cardinals being just a really,
yeah,
really weird pick.
yeah,
Everything about this is really weird. The overpay, the wild card team,
yep. But hey,
the factors that made the most sense just completely being thrown out the window.
yeah. Anyway, on to the NBA. So the NBA is having an All-Star game this year. So
Yes,
it's going to be in Atlanta,
it
and
is.
apparently this is going to be the court design.
Yes, the court design. It has blue, green, yellow, red stripes going through the baselines, and
Mhm.
then in each of the paint areas has historically black college and university inspired themes of like marching bands, instruments, books,
You have like the
grad school,
graduation gown.
yeah, graduation gown and cap. I think it's a nice nod. I think that a and don't take this as me saying they shouldn't do this. I think the effect in marketing reaches more if you do this in a non-pandemic year, though, when you can actually fill an arena. because while
also,
Atlanta is a hub for that, this is something that if you believe that you need to represent this and advocate for this, can be done anywhere.
yeah, but like also in the pandemic space, right? You not only have the court to represent what you're trying to convey, but a bunch of empty seats also.
Right, exactly.
So,
Which is kind of like, I mean, think about that in a non-pandemic year.
mhm,
If you brought a design like that and a message like that and there were empty seats, you would think that someone was rioting against,
yeah,
protesting against you. So it's the same ideology. Just because it's a pandemic year doesn't mean
yeah.
it's not possible.
I mean, you're just not gonna see the immediate like effect of this with like people in the stands or many
Right.
people in
You
the
won't get a
stands.
reaction on
Yeah, but it's still good. I think. I mean, I think it's still good. It's just like this this season to execute it is kind of hard. Uh, but
I mean, it's been hard to execute everything. You know,
yeah,
that the
yeah.
NHL decided not to even do an All Star game. Not that they were going to put a message like this on the ice. It would be really cool if they did,
I
but I
mean,
just
the
don't see the
the other
work.
problem with the NHL's having is the teams in Canada can't leave Canada. So what are you gonna have an All Star game with 24 teams or whatever it is?
I mean, there's plenty of teams to hold an All Star
Well,
game.
I mean, it's not an all-star game unless you have the stars from each team or the whole league. So you're kind of
Okay. I
you're
mean,
leaving out a
why
division.
can't you do the skills competition in two different places? And I mean, like, all the time trials can be done virtually.
Very true. I see that. But also like, like with not having fans and, not being able to get like the all-star teams together, is it really worth it to go through that just to have some time trials?
You know, the end all be all to this, and I'm going to say this before I lose my thought. With Atlanta being and the Hawks being in the State Farm Arena, is this really is just another plot in the grand scheme of from going from start of NFL season all the way through now, just to have State Farm commercials pretty much running constant.
Yo.
Because State Farm Arena,
Yeah.
for
Um
sure, if they're going to have the game there in an empty arena, is not going to allow their brand and their organization to take a hit. They are going to run that commercial until Jake from State Farm has a nosebleed on his red shirt.
Anyway, yeah, let's take a look at the players for the competitions first.
Yeah. So they're doing the dunk contest at halftime of the All Star game,
Mhm,
which is interesting. They also normally do a four dunker field, but for this season are only doing three.
which is
Um, and in classic dunk contest fashion, at least somebody is wearing the number one on their jersey. It's like the ultimate guy who like only dunks thing to do is to wear the number one. So we get Anthony Simmons, Obi Toppin, both representing their teams and wearing the number one, and then Cassius Stanley of the Pacers, who made it all the way up to number two.
Mhm. Yeah.
Only because he's a rookie and TJ Warren wears number one.
Yeah. And then
Right.
we have
And
the skills competition or the
yep,
skills challenge, I guess.
same shit.
So,
By the
yeah.
way, I took this from a French Instagram page.
So yeah, here
The
you have
only stuff that was
Doncic.
not in French. Yep.
So here you have Doncic, Paul, uh, Robert Covington, Julius Randle, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
say the other two names?
Sabonis, and Nikola Vucevic.
There you go.
I mean, your name is Sean Menon, and like when I look at your name, it's not exactly the easiest thing to
Yeah.
pronounce either.
No, I get that, but like I can't pronounce things, so I'm not even gonna try.
I just flashed back to when we were in first grade, how much trouble I would have had with your name if I could actually pronounce like the whole thing. Sean Menon.
Hey, That's basically what it was for the first like
Mrs.
5 years of school.
Oh, wait, it was Mrs. Villa's class. Mrs. Villa's class. Who could forget?
All right. Anyway, and finally we have the 3-point contest. Yeah, so you have 6 players here too. So
Yeah, Booker and Curry have already been in the contest before,
yep.
but then you have Donovan Mitchell. I believe it's his first time. Then you have Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, and Jason Tatum. So you get 2 Celtics for the price of who asked for one.
Yep. All right. And then as far as the actual All-Star game goes, we have Team LeBron. Why is they're using his first name here, and then Team Durant.
Because they do fantasy draft style now.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, why are they saying LeBron's first name but Durant's last name?
Because they're trying to market something here for some stupid reason.
All right. Anyway, yeah, in the player pool though, we have Adetokounmpo. Wait, I can't even pronounce Adetokounmpo or something.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Then you have Beal, Curry, Doncic, Embiid, Irving, Jokic,
Okay, let me pull this up because they actually did the draft last night
Leonard, and
after I
Tatum.
created the graphics. They fucking did the
Wait,
draft
there's
because
an injured person in the player pool.
Anthony Davis was replaced by Devin Booker.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
NBA
that'll make sense.
All-Star. Yeah, everybody was mad that Booker didn't make the All-Star team in less than 24 hours after they announced the rosters. He was already in because of the replacement shit.
Is it? Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. All right, on Team LeBron is Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Jaylen Brown, Rudy Gobert, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Demonis Sabonis, and Ben Simmons.
Okay.
And then on Team Durant, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Nikola Vucevic, and Zion Williamson.
And Durant's hurt, right? So he's not actually playing?
Correct. I would imagine that's why Zion Williamson is in there.
Yeah, okay.
Or no, yeah. Also, Team Durant just has 2 injured players, which is why their roster is 2 spots bigger than Team LeBron's.
Yeah, I
Because
figured.
Team LeBron is going to be jam-packed with steroids.
Yeah, anyway.
I would love to be on Team LeBron just because that's the only time in my career I'd be allowed to take him.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, on to the next topic, which is
College basketball.
a quick look into March Madness before we get into our
Yeah.
super episode next week.
So just to let you guys know, the courts this year, and I was gonna do this a little bit differently. I forgot because I made this graphic on my lunch break. The court designs this year are going to be just like the past few years, where you have the March Madness logo in the middle.
Yep.
This year, all of the games are in Indianapolis, different sites.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that we have on here is Mackey Arena, where Purdue plays.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's going to be Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is, I believe, where Butler plays.
Okay.
Let's see here if I can pull up the rest. We're going to have, I think they're still having the big one where it was.
Okay.
Which would be Lucas Oil Fieldhouse, the Colts place.
Yep.
All right. Assembly Hall, Indiana University.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
But
Bankers
I mean,
Life Fieldhouse, where the Pacers play.
Yeah. Just like one comment about this though, it's like these fields are so generic anyway. I mean, they're not really doing much to them, right? They're adding the location and the
Well, they
arena
add the
name.
round. They add the round on the baseline. It
And
changes
then they're
that.
adding the round on the baseline. Yeah, but the rest of the court's kind of like so generic.
So I was going to ask you this: would you prefer this as the court, or do you prefer? And they just slapped an old big NCAA logo on it from like 2004 till 2012,
I
or do you prefer when they did before that, which they basically just put them in a gym and it just happened to be like the corniest shit because it's like you're playing on somebody else's floor.
I
And
kind
it's
of
very
like,
evident that I think it's more comical and better when it's on somebody else's floor.
but at the same time, they're not going to pass up an opportunity to market themselves, right? But I do think they could have done something for the arenas instead of making them completely generic.
Oh, for sure. But
It's
I
like
mean,
it's kind of sad to see this. You have like 6 locations, and you don't really have to do much, but like only writing their name, uh, in like one little portion.
one, yeah, one blob, and then they just put like the host university on like the bottom right or bottom left and bottom or top right corner.
Yeah, that's still like
Like,
it. You could have done so much more, and
you know,
I'm not
they
even
really should have
asking.
they just should have wrote the host college across the baseline because they're really only using half the baseline.
But like, I'm not even asking for something like the NBA did. Like, just do something. Put like the hosts like logo somewhere on the court.
Hmm.
Maybe like uh at the center, across the center lines or something.
Hmm. Yep,
You know, make it a little bit more personalized, I guess.
make
And
it fun.
yeah, because that's what this is supposed to be. It's like it's kind of sad to see it so plain. You know?
Yes. Yeah. No. As much as I liked the design when it first came out, uh, which is now like 5, 6 years ago, it very quickly has become just how can the NCAA save money by not having to supply brand new courts each year? Or actually, the way that they would save money the most is to just play on
But they're not
somebody
gonna
else's
pass
court.
up the marketing opportunity.
Right. So this is like the cheap way of doing it
Yeah.
because you can take this and put it anywhere. All you have to do is change out the boards that go around it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, again, and as a fan watching it, it'd be cool to see some type of personalization on the court.
Yeah, no, it would be. Especially because if you wanted to take advantage of the contributions that college students can bring, being that a lot of them focus in creative endeavors,
Hmm.
you could come up with something a lot better at any university than just that.
Yep.
There is someone on any campus who can draw up something way better.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we will have our mega episode for March Madness next week.
Yeah,
So look forward to that. But yeah, we're on to our
on to
final
hockey.
topic of the NHL. All right, so this past week, a lot of like 3 different sites I saw came out with their power rankings. So
Ranking
w-
season.
we just took
Yep.
we just took the top 12, 13 from each of them, and we just want to go through them. So
Yeah.
right off the bat, uh, it's NBC Sports, TSN, and CBS. I'm pretty sure. Uh,
Shit, when they copied and pasted.
yeah. So uh anyway, TSN is the one in the middle.
I got a lot of shit going.
It's kind of obvious because they put Toronto as number 1.
Oh yeah. Who would have thought a Canadian site would have picked her? Well, first of all, I have a problem with Toronto being anywhere near number one.
Yeah.
Just for historical reasons. They're never anywhere near number one,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the playoffs. So I think that Toronto, for power ranking reasons, their ceiling should be like 5.
But I
Just good
mean,
enough to
this is
not make the
current
conference
power
finals.
rankings, right?
Yeah, current power rankings, but it's a massive throw off still
Yeah.
just to see Toronto anywhere near the top.
Yeah, but I mean, The other two sites are pretty concise. Tampa Bay is the number one. I have to agree with Tampa Bay being the number one.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. If only Tom Brady could skate, right?
Yeah. But the other two sites do have Toronto as the number two.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably more accurate. It's still probably way too high in my opinion. Look, Toronto is very good. Austin Matthews scores a lot of points. He'll never be. I mean, Austin Matthews, I feel like, is on a trajectory to where he's chasing Alex Ovechkin more than like Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
He's a goal scorer first. He has
Yeah.
18 goals and less than 10 assists.
Yeah. I mean, I see that. He's that type. Well, I think Toronto needs him to be that type of player.
Yeah.
Because I do think
Because as stacked as their roster is, I don't think that they get enough goal support.
yeah. And like I do think if you put him on a different team where he had to be the, passing center, the one that sets up, he could do it. But I
Oh, yeah,
think
for sure.
the way that Toronto needs to use him, he is chasing Alex Ovechkin over Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's quite only a factor of how Toronto needs to use him, not him as a player.
No, I'd say his trajectory is more Wayne or is more Ovechkin Lemieux than it is like Crosby or Gretzky for sure.
Yeah.
Unlike McDavid, I feel like is chasing.
Gretzky.
I mean, yeah,
Like
I
the
wouldn't even
same
put
type
Crosby
of player
there.
that Gretzky could be, with.
Right.
No, I'm not saying anybody's chasing Gretzky. Let's be honest.
I mean, Yager.
Yeah, but he did on the assist part.
Yager's gone though, but
Yeah, I know. So anyway,
I mean, he's still playing, but
yeah. So
the
yeah,
man apparently can't give up muffins.
after Toronto and Tampa, two NBC and TSN have Vegas as the number 3, but CBS has Boston as the number 3.
That
So the one problem I have with this is Boston on TSN's ranking. Let's just look at the other rankings, right? On NBC,
Boston is
at
12
7,
and 7.
and then at TSN it's at 12. So how does 3 sites looking at the same games?
There's something very wrong with what CBS does, and maybe I mean CBS should probably cover hockey like ESPN.
But the other 2 sites do say Vegas is the number 3. I can get behind that. I do think that like Toronto, Tampa, Vegas are probably like the highest power ranking. Like I do agree with those 3. I don't know if like they're the best, but I think Vegas is fine.
I'm just weird out on. I mean, it kind of goes that way with Colorado is 4, but they're 6 and 7.
But 4, 6, and 7 is a lot better than
Oh
3,
yeah, no,
7,
very
and
different
12.
than 3 and 12 is like meet me in the middle, and it's still off from the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like Colorado, like I do think that the next like 5 teams or the next like 4 or 5 spots are pretty interchangeable, especially as we don't see the teams playing each other.
Which of the teams that you've named so far between Toronto, Vegas, Colorado, and Boston is the next team to contend to get really far but never win a cup? Because I could see Colorado being that team.
Colorado is that team.
They don't have the goaltender.
Yeah. Colorado's that team. I think that the team itself, like the players, the forwards and defensemen are really good.
They have a good mix of offensive and defensive defensemen.
Yeah.
They have the talent.
Yeah.
Landeskog, Rantanen, and
Yeah. It's like their team is solid. It's just they're
They
missing
need-
that one guy that stands between the puck and the net.
who is their goaltender? Is it still Grubauer?
I thought so.
They gotta stop taking other teams' backups and being like, "You're the future."
But
You
like
only have your core for so long.
as far as this goes, like Vegas is probably the number 3, and then I do think like 4, 5, and 6 are pretty interchangeable. I
Yeah,
don't know why TSN has Minnesota at 5. I wouldn't necessarily
it
put them
really
there.
just pisses me off that the Florida Panthers are anywhere near the top of a power ranking list.
I do
Just
think they're
because their fan base doesn't care.
yeah, but like I do think that like Colorado, Carolina, and Florida should technically be 4 to 6. I don't
I
know
would
in
agree
what
with that.
order,
I
but
mean, Carolina not being in our division this year, I kind of forgot what really is going on over there. Storm Surge apparently wiped out.
yeah, but I mean like those are the 3 teams I think are 4 to 6. I don't know what TSN is doing to have Minnesota at 5.
No, I'm just kind of surprised that Ottawa wasn't in the top half of the rankings for TSN at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winnipeg at 9. They have
Edmonton at
Edmonton
7.
7.
Yeah, but that's it.
There's only so many, Canadian teams left.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
Like
wait, what
two,
the
what?
heck?
2 more? 2 more?
Yeah, that I mean Ottawa
Calgary.
technically, Vancouver,
Oh yeah, three
and
more.
Calgary.
Ottawa, Calgary.
Yeah, so like
I'm sure none of them are at the bottom.
I'm pretty sure Ottawa was
Lowest,
at the actual bottom.
we can look it up. I kind of want to see if you want to go through some of the rest of these rankings.
Yeah. And then like as far as past 6, um Boston actually probably deserves to be around 9 or 10, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think
Minnesota
that Boston.
should be in this group.
I didn't think that Boston was having a great year. I mean, I thought that they were good, but our division is so
Yeah.
up in the air right now that leading it, I don't think makes you a top
Yeah.
5 team.
Yeah, but like
Uh,
that's why I think Boston is a like
hold on, see
in
this
the
one.
group of like 6 to 10, probably around like 8 or 9. I think Minnesota should be in the same group.
Oh, we forgot the Canadians.
Oh, Montreal. Right, but they're bad too. Uh,
Oh, Detroit, 31. Ottawa, 30. Vancouver,
I'm
28.
pretty sure the other 2 sites have Ottawa at 31.
Montreal, 19.
Yeah.
Where's Calgary? Oh, 20.
Aside from that, like Philly's probably I think the sites got it right with Philly
They're,
being around
they're
10,
up,
11.
they're up and down.
I do think I do think the Islanders are better than their power ranking shows. I do think they should be in the top 10.
They're up
Um
and down too. Every team in the Atlantic is so up and down. It's streaky
yeah, but
because we all just play each other to the teeth.
yeah,
So
and
Ottawa's not 31 in any of them. Vancouver is 31 in one, and Detroit is 31 in 2 of them.
okay.
I don't know how Vancouver in one is like 26 and the other is 31, but
Yeah. So, like I don't know, what do you think? Like Boston, Minnesota,
man, fuck Boston. That's what I think.
they should be like 7 to 10. I think New York should be in the lower like 9 or 10, and I think Washington should round out the top 10.
I
If you're
wouldn't even
gonna
put
put
Washington in the top 10.
but if you're gonna put Atlantic teams in the top 10, you have to put that many.
I think every Atlantic team should be somewhere between 10 and 15.
But there are not enough spots between 10 and
Okay,
15.
10 and 17. Christ. The Devils can have 17.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't think
that's pretty good for the Devils.
I think Philly should technically be dropped out of the top 10.
I would say
Uh,
out of the top 15.
I think
No
Winnipeg.
animosity to it either.
I think Winnipeg should be, like around. Winnipeg's pretty good, but I don't know. Like the Canadian teams
I
are in their
mean,
own bubble, man.
I still think of Winnipeg having Line A and Dustin Bufflin in the back of my mind.
Nope.
It's hard to envision any talent
Nope.
being there.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think Edmonton should drop out from these lists or be at the bottom.
Oh no, but they're at, I mean, it's either 13, 7, or 9.
Yeah, I think they're
So
yeah. What do you
I'd
think?
say probably somewhere between 10 and 15. Again, it's not like I'm trying to shit on every Canadian team, but like it's been so long since a Canadian team won a cup
Yeah,
that you just kind of like think of a Canadian team like Edmonton is like, well, I know what their peak has been, and it hasn't been top 10. Their peak has been top 15.
yeah. It's like, oh, I mean, do you have any comments? You teams you think missed out at the top 10 that you think should be there, or no?
I think that like I'd let me see because I keep thinking of names of teams that I would want to pull out of the top 10.
But none to
So let me
replace it.
see. Yeah, well, I mean, you can't watch everybody and do internships in grad school and shit
That's
like
why.
that.
That's why I'm saying like if you're gonna put one Atlantic team in the top 10, you got to put like three. Um, aside from that,
Yeah, actually, looking at the records is kind of
yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
it's a
the
track.
it's kind of hard, especially with complete segregation of games where everybody's playing the same teams over and over
Mhm.
to do a full power ranking. So I thought it would be pretty cool to look at this and see what sites choose. And I really think that these lists are so different because like none of these teams play each other. Like Toronto's not going to play Tampa Bay or Vegas anytime soon.
Mhm.
So it's all pulled out of our ass, but like it's cool to see what others think of teams and how they can be so different.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get the thing about power rankings is you have to be careful how many sites you look at because then you're just gonna hurt your
Yeah, but like that's why we chose
or
the
you're just
three
gonna be
like top sites.
you're not really. I wouldn't call CBS a reputable hockey
No,
organization.
but like it's a news outlet that's pretty visited. So I didn't find another like I wouldn't trust ESPN's, let's be honest.
Oh
So
yeah, but at the same time, ESPN probably does just as well with competitive balance in their topics that as CBS does. I mean,
yeah.
just with
So
slightly more clicks and a streaming platform that's not as significant.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's cool to look at.
Also, I'll say power rankings. If you look at enough sites, you just turn into the angry fan because it's like you feel like the world is out to get you if your team is in the top five. Is like if you're a Boston fan, oh, this is awesome. We're number three. If you see that you're number three, the site where you're number three first, you get so excited, and then you go to the next site and
And
you
you're
see like
TSN and you
you're
see
like
12.
12, and you're like, oh, we're not getting a fair shake. This is ridiculous. It's like you get your ego stroked and just massacred
Yeah.
every time you scroll.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that neither of our teams are that good.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
fluctuating between making it and not.
Yep. All right. So yeah, that's a little short one this week, so we can prepare for next week. But yeah,
Yep.
thanks for tuning in, and catch you
See you
next
next
time.
week for the big show.
Yep. Catch you next
It's
time.
like the big dance, but a show.
All right.